Am I the a-hole for telling my husband that I will not rehome my pet rabbit for our daughter's sake? I, 28F, have had my pet rabbit for the past 6 years. My mother got me her on my graduation day because I had wanted a pet for so long, so she, rabbit, holds a very special place in my heart. I recently got married. My husband, 30M, daughter, 12F. He got full custody of his daughter after his ex faced charges for child neglect. I have done my best to be a mother figure for her for as long as I have known my husband. I contribute to her future education savings every month and decided not to have any kids with my husband so that she would not feel neglected because of a biological child. I try my best to discipline her like I would my own child. I even adopted her so she would never feel like she wasn't accepted by me. I always make it a point to attend every meet at her school as well regardless of my schedule. I have done everything in my control to make her feel like my own child. I do not let our daughter pick my rabbit up or go near her, not because I don't love her enough, but because rabbits are sensitive creatures and do not get along with kids who are naturally excited and hyperactive. Also, kids might harm rabbits unintentionally. I house my rabbit in a separate room which is quite large and has toys, so she doesn't get bored. I specifically told my husband not to let her into the room without my permission. He still let her into the room to play with my rabbit when I had gone to work. My rabbit was terrified due to her rough handling and scratched her arms. I came home to find my husband furious with me. I told him this would not have happened if he hadn't let her in despite my warning. Mind you, the scratches weren't too deep and my daughter was completely fine. Also, rabbits do not pass contagious diseases to humans, so it wasn't an issue. I regularly trim my rabbit's nails so it didn't even cause a bleed. He was not ready to listen and asked me to rehome my rabbit. I refused to do so and said he would just have to deal with our daughter not being allowed to play with the rabbit. He said I am a fool for not caring about her. I replied saying that, since she doesn't have allergies or even fear of animals in general, and since my rabbit isn't very aggressive for no reason either, I will not be rehoming my rabbit. He hasn't been talking to me for the past week. Am I the a-hole? Yeah, this post was odd to me. It sounds like either your daughter isn't typical in some way or you just don't understand children and what is age-appropriate expectations for them due to being new to being a parent. A 12-year-old is not a toddler and can absolutely be taught to handle an animal carefully or not act hyper around one. Think about how long they sit still in school. If they couldn't control how hyper they are and not run or bounce around whenever they want, school wouldn't work. Or consider a middle schooler drawing or writing. Clearly they are controlling their hand, how hard they push, etc. to be able to write. Or they'd always break the point on mechanical pencils like my 1-year-old does. Wouldn't be able to learn to shade an art, apply different amounts of pressure, You and your husband are generally both a bit of the assholes. You're wrong, here. You are both treating this tween like she is a literal baby, and it's not good for her. Wow, really? This whole post seems off to me. She spends 4 to 5 hours a day in a separate room that her 12-year-old isn't allowed into, so she can be alone with her rabbit. Why can't she spend time with her rabbit and her family together? Or does she work from home in there or something? Because if it's 4 to 5 hours per day after school work, then she's completely neglecting her family for this rabbit. I've never actually owned a rabbit, so I don't know if being locked in the room all day with visits is good for it or not. But I find it odd she feels a need to keep it away from the rest of her family. With a combination lock? This is just also bizarre to me. I've never heard of a family that locks away its pets from the family kids, who are middle schoolers, with actual physical locks to keep them away. This just such a straight-up alien situation to me. Accidentally train reminds me of how I accidentally trained my dog to go to his kennel and shut up. He even gets all giddy like it's a reward. Yes, I completely agree, training the daughter is the way to go. At around 5, my mom forced my older bro to abandon our cat because he scratched me. I was very upset because I knew the cat scratched me because he did like I would chase him around his hiding spots and try to grab him. I thought it was harmless fun and didn't mind the scratches. Even when I promised to not bother cat, my mom didn't care and still forced my brother. The point is, I was self-aware of the signs the cat was giving even at 5, it's just I thought his signs were playing, If I had had training, the situation could have been avoided. I have more examples of myself growing to be able to take care of animals that suddenly were left at my care since as young as I have memory. Cats, chicken, dogs, bird, turtle, hedgehog. Background. When we got my chihuahua, we didn't have cats anymore, but still bought cat food because we found it was the best food for our omnivore Haitian red-eared landslides. Mainstream turtle food essentially starves them, they don't grow. My Kai very much prefers cat food, but it gives him diarrhea if he has too much, so for treats we would give him 2 to 3 pieces, sometimes. How accidental training happened. When he was younger, he always barked at visitors and tried to bite their toes, but calmed down if we grounded him in the kennel, with view to visitors, so he got used to them. Because I felt bad for leaving him there for hours, I would give him treats. One day I said I was going to put him in his kennel, and he just wagged his tail, strutted with his Kai gate to it, and proceeded to open the unlocked door with his paw and entered. He still does this to this day, no longer need treats. Accidentally train reminds me of how I accidentally trained my dog. Accidental training FTW. I accidentally taught my son's dog Sam, also known as Sammy, Sambino, which rhymes with Bambino the Great Sambino, my best buddy, you big dummy, and other names, some stuff. Sammy used to try to charge into my bedroom door before me when I opened it. Now if I tell him no go for Sambinos, he'll sit and wait patiently outside my door for me to come back out. I used to always tell him that when I'd kind of body check him to keep him from squeezing past me. I also accidentally taught him to lie down using a hand signal, and it's what I used to do to kind of protect myself from him jumping up so much when he was a puppy. Now he also jumps less. Yet when I actually try to teach this derby dog anything, it takes weeks. Facepum. Hey op, my family just adopted a bun a couple of months ago. I have 4 children between the ages of 2 to 7. All of them were taught how to handle Bun, to be gentle, how to pat her, not to pick her up, not to put fingers close to her teeth. Most of the children have received a scratch or a nip for being too rough or scaring her, and they've learned their lesson. Our Bun is not scared of the children. She's free range and often approaches all the children for pats and head scratches. She has many places where she can run to safety if she's feeling overwhelmed. Her favorite place to be is on my 2-year-old's bed, even though there's often a 2-year-old in it. Bun likes the company, she likes being around people. She often just lays around while the children are playing with IKEA trains or doing puzzles, which is not a good idea. She likes eating puzzle pieces. We have a ferret that my husband brought home as a surprise when our daughter was 9 now. I've always had ferrets since I was 5, but decided not to get any new ones when I found out I was pregnant. BC ferrets are also very fragile, maybe not so much as a bunny, since they are feisty predators. And also they play rough, and should not be around kids at all. I was apprehensive, but she was shown how to handle him, and how to not stomp around when he goes after her feet. Now when she has friends over, she tells them all about what you can and can't do, and warns them that he likes to jump and bite, but he's just playing, and has been taught not to draw blood. So our ferret is more than safe from her, and the kiddo's safe from him too? Lol. I know it can be scary with kids and small animals, and you should definitely be cautious and keep a watchful eye while your daughter learns. I think 12 is old enough. I'm glad you're going this course. I just got a rabbit again last year after not having one since college. I'm in mid-30s now. I had forgotten how smart they are. The younger neighbor girl likes to come over and play with him, but she's very careful to be gentle, and I try to impress upon her that he has his own personality, just like her dog, and that there's things he likes and doesn't like. She was also fascinated by learning what the different sounds he makes are, and how rabbits communicate with each other, because man, he likes making sure I know when he's irked at me or I am not giving him enough attention. My rabbit hates being held. I've tried to get him used to it forever, and he'll tolerate it if I'm sitting on the floor and I scoop him up, but he knows he can get down himself otherwise. Nope. Scratched up arms. But since he immediately runs back over to me and starts nudging me and cleaning me, I know he's not actually mad at me for trying. He was just making his point. But I also get your worry, and she shouldn't have been in there unsupervised. Rabbits can get injured so easily, and it's important to know how to interact with them. It'll also give you something to share with her as she learns to be gentle and understand another creature. Dogs and cats make their attitudes very known. Rabbits are a bit more subtle, but totally readable if given the time. You probably have other reasons or a longer explanation. Your feelings are valid. Your personal decision to have children or not wasn't the point of your post. I would say NTA for not wanting to rehome your rabbit. I think an underlying issue here is overthinking or worrying, which may be working against you. Instead of thinking about all of the things that could go wrong, think about how amazing things can be. Your husband overreacted, and maybe he just needs some reassurance that one negative experience between your bunny and daughter isn't the end of the world. You said somewhere else that you'd like them to build a bond, so I think this can be a great opportunity to bring your family closer together. Thank you for taking the time to reply. I hope everything works out for you.